Good morning, Little Masters, and welcome to today's Tolkien Times. I'm the Man of the West, also from the Prancing Pony podcast. Thank you for joining me as I head back into the rich poetry found in Tolkien's epic poem, The Lay of Leithian. Now, when we last left the epic lay, Huon gave Beren and Luthien advice and cosplay resources. Today, we begin Canto 13 with a flashback to the mighty Fingolfin and his challenge against the craven Morgoth. In that vast shadow once of yore, Fingolfin stood. His shield he bore with field of heaven's blue and star of crystal shining pale afar. In overmastering wrath and hate, desperate he smote upon that gate. The elvish king there standing lone, while endless fortresses of stone engulfed the thin, clear, ringing keen of silver horn on baldric green. His hopeless challenge dauntless cried Fingolfin there, "Come, open wide, dark king, your ghastly brazen doors. Come forth, whom earth and heaven abhors. Come forth, O monstrous craven lord, and fight with thine own hand and sword, thou wilder of hosts of banded thralls, thou tyrant leaguered with strong walls, foe of Valar and elvish race. I wait thee here. Come, show thy face." Then Morgoth came. For the last time in those great wars he dared to climb from subterranean throne profound. The rumor of his feet a sound of rumbling earthquake underground. Black-armored, towering, iron-crowned, he issued forth, his mighty shield a vast unblazoned sable field, with shadow like a thundercloud, and o'er the gleaming king it bowed. As huge aloft like mace he hurled that hammer of the underworld, Grond. Clanging to ground it tumbled down like a thunderbolt, and crumbled the rocks beneath it. Smoke upstarted, a pit yawned, and a fire darted. Fingolfin, like a shooting light beneath a cloud, a stab of white, sprang then aside, and Ringild drew like ice that gleameth cold and blue. His sword devised of elvish skill to pierce the flesh with deadly chill. With 7 wounds it rent his foe, and 7 mighty cries of woe rang in the mountains, and the earth quook, and Angband's trembling army shook. Orcs dared not after quaking tell of that great duel at the gates of hell. Though elvish song thereof was made, ere this but one, when sad was laid the mighty king in Barrow High, and Thorondor, eagle of the sky, the dreadful tidings brought and told to mourning Elveness of old. Thrice was Fingolfin with great blows to his knees beaten. Thrice he rose, still leaping up beneath the cloud, aloft to hold, star-shining proud, his stricken shield, his sundered helm, that dark nor might could o'erwhelm, till all the earth was burst and rent in pits about him. He was spent. His feet stumbled. He fell to wreck upon the ground, and on his neck a foot like rooted hills was set, and he was crushed. Not conquered yet, one last despairing stroke he gave. The mighty foot pale Ringild clave about the heel, and black the blood gushed as from smoking fount in flood. Halt goes forever from that stroke, great Morgoth, but the king he broke, and would have hewn and mangled, throne to wolves devouring. Lo, from throne that Manwë bade him build on high, on peak unscaled beneath the sky, Morgoth to watch, now down there swooped Thorondor, king of eagles, stooped, and rending beak of gold he smote in Bauglir's face. Then up did float on pinions 30 fathoms wide, bearing away, while loud he cried, the mighty corpse, the elven king. And where the mountains make a ring, far to the south about that plain where secret Gondolin did reign, embattled city at great height, upon a dizzy snow-cap white, in mounded cairn the mighty dead he laid upon the mountain's head. Never orc nor demon after dared that pass to climb, o'er which there stared Fingolfin's high and holy tomb, till Gondolin's appointed doom. Thus Bauglir earned the furrowed scar that his dark countenance doth mar, and thus his limping gait he gained. But afterward profound he reigned darkling upon his hidden throne, and thunderous paced his halls of stone, slow building there his vast design, the world in thraldom to confine. Wielder of armies, lord of woe, no rest now gave he slave or foe. His watch and ward he thrice increased. His spies were sent from west to east, and tidings brought from all the north, who fought, who fell, who ventured forth, who wrought in secret, who had hoard, if maid were fair or proud were lord. Well nigh all things he knew, all hearts well nigh enmeshed in evil arts. Doriath only, beyond the veil, woven by Melian no assail, could hurt or enter. Only rumor dim of things there passing came to him. A rumor loud and tidings clear of other movements, far and near among his foes, the threat of war from the seven sons of Feanor, from the far Falas, from Fingon still, gathering his armies under hill and under tree in Hithlum's shade, these daily came. He grew afraid amidst his power once more. Renown of Baron vexed his ears, and down the eyelid forests there was heard great Huan baying. Then came word most passing strange of Leithian, wild wandering by wood and glen, and Thingol's purpose long he weighed, and wondered, thinking of that maid, so fair, so frail. A captain dire, bulldog, he sent with sword and fire to Doriath's march, but battle fell sudden upon him. News to tell, never one returned of bulldog's host, and Thingol humbled Morgoth's boast. Then his heart with doubt and wrath was burned. New tidings of dismay he learned. Sauron was o'erthrown, his strong isle broken and plundered, how with guile his foes new guile beset, and spies he feared, till each orc to his eyes was half suspect. Still, ever down the eyelid forests came renown of Huan baying, hound of war, the Valar unleashed in Valinor. Wow. If we didn't already have the villain origin story for Morgoth, this would be a good one. Always walking around with a limp because of Fingolfin, and with a big scar on his face, thanks to the mighty Thorondir's beak. By the way, that wingspan of 30 fathoms, folks, that's 180 feet across, almost 55 meters. Now, just for comparison's sake, that's 20 meters wider than the wingspan of a Boeing 737 or Airbus A320. In fact, it's only 5 meters shorter than the wingspan of the massive Airbus A330 or Boeing 787. Thorondir is a massive creature. That beak would have been huge and utterly terrifying. Now, the rest of this, I got to tell you, I am just in awe of this description of the battle between High King Fingolfin and Morgoth. The musicality of the verse brings this encounter to life, and the rhythm echoes the rhythm of the fight itself. And the way Tolkien transitions from the fight, or the memory of the fight, to the present day as Morgoth increases his watch to learn more about his enemies, that is fantastic. And when he hears that news about Luthien, right, he sends Bulldog to get some news. He doesn't make it back. But then he gets worse news. Sauron's fallen. And now Morgoth suspects everyone. His paranoia is ramped up, 11 out of 10 right now. Even his orcs are half suspect. And all the time in the background, as he's trying to figure out what's going on, word about Huan is spreading. For now, though, folks, that's it for today's First Stage Friday. Come back next week for more as we meet the terror that is the Red Maw, Karkaroth. Now, eventually, one of these days, this has to end, and I will return to Fandom Fridays. So if you know anybody who should join me here for a future Fandom Friday, just email barliman@theprancingponypodcast.com. And please visit patreon.com/TolkienTimes to learn how you can support the show, get an ad-free feed, a monthly hangout with me, bonus weekly episode, and more. And then join me again tomorrow on today's Tolkien Times as we wrap up this week with Silmarillion Saturday as we work our way to the dramatic end of the Akallabeth. Now, this is Past Future Alan coming back to make a change to the episode. Those of you on video can undoubtedly tell that from the mismatched clothing. Now, you may have seen or heard the exciting news last week that soon, but not quite yet, the Prancing Pony podcast is going to be back on YouTube as I begin my new streaming show, The Prancing Pony Podcast Plays. Now, in the meantime, since I'm going to be combining all 4 of the PPP Productions content into one YouTube channel, I want to consolidate social media as well. So please be sure to follow at Prancing Pony Pod on Twitter, or X if you want to call it that, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. On Facebook, we're still at the Prancing Pony Podcast. And finally, as Faramir says, go with the goodwill of all good men.